Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook video updated on Tuesday the 12th of June. And it's all changed with the weather systems coming back in from the Atlantic. Spells of wind and rain, we've not seen that for a few weeks now. We've got most in the way of rain focused on those western hills exposed to that west or southwest wind, particularly western Scotland I suspect, as we go into next week, whilst England and Wales look like being relatively drier. Temperature's not doing too bad, but cooler than the very high values we've seen in recent weeks. Let's have a look to the charts then. Here's Wednesday, fronts moving their way in, rain setting in, turning heavy across the West Highlands as the day goes on, particularly by late afternoon and evening. Some patchy rain running ahead of that, northeastwards across Scotland, but shouldn't come to a great deal. And for England and Wales, essentially a dry day. The winds will strengthen, gale force or widely severe gale force across many of the mountains as run into Wednesday evening and night. The low and its associated fronts then passes eastwards through overnight into Thursday, but leaves a very windy day all the way through, I suspect, easing down only later on. Extensive upland gales then, it could be 60-70, gusting 80 miles per hour or more for a good many hours. A wraparound or a front associated with that low just pulling through across Scotland, which may organise some showers into longer periods of rain across the Highlands, spreading from west to east. The main cold front pushing through and weakening across England and Wales to leave a bright and breezy day with just one or two drizzly showers coming in to western hills. Now by Friday the isobars open out a little bit, so we've got lighter winds overall, south-southwesterlies generally. Most of England and Wales stay dry, perhaps the odd shower for the lakes and North Pennines, chance of a shower also for the southern uplands, but rain may just be that bit more frequent across western Scotland and some outbreaks of showers pushing northeastwards through the day as well. Some low cloud too plaguing those western hills in Scotland. The next low and its associated fronts lies west of Ireland, and that will be edging its way in, I think, to western Britain and Ireland by Friday night. Now by Saturday, low pressure will have moved its way in, and uncertainty exactly where it will lie, and it's crucial then as to who sees the worst of the weather for Saturday. Broadly, it's a day where there will be some rain around, many places will see that. It could well be that it's just slow-moving areas of rain, some heavy bursts of showers breaking out in there at times. You could well see rain for a good few hours locally, but likewise, some spots could get away with it, and you stay essentially dry for a good few hours. Where there's rain around, low cloud will cover the hills to fairly low levels, but some brighter spells will be in there as well. In terms of wind speeds, probably not as strong as during midweek, but could be locally blustery, but in the centre of the low, winds could well be very light. I think I'd work on the idea of having the waterproofs handy, whatever, on Saturday. Sunday doesn't look quite so bad. A few showers, though, look believable, left over from that previous system. And we do have further fronts starting to nudge their way in from the Atlantic. But a brief ridge of high pressure in between those weather systems may well give most places an essentially dry day, with just that scope for a local shower. Winds looking fairly light and temperatures not doing too bad. Let's step back and look at the big picture into next week. There's a little ridge of high pressure building in on Sunday. It's then back to a general west to southwesterly flow into next week. Low pressure will pass north of Scotland. Associated fronts will drift eastwards across the British Isles. The most in the way of rain looks like being focused on the west and northwest Highlands. Bits and pieces maybe western hills elsewhere, but very little overall for the east and southeast of Scotland and much of England and Wales. Not seeing a great deal of rain, I don't think, into next week. High pressure from the Azores is still trying to nose its way towards us, and with time that may well push those weather systems even further north to mean that many places end the week on a substantially dry note. Bit of caution with that one though, because sometimes once the jet stream does return and start driving weather systems towards us, it doesn't always know when to stop, so that high from the Azores might not quite get in as quickly as suggested at the moment. So I think I'd work on the idea of a fairly changeable week, particularly in Scotland, wettest conditions in the West Highlands, which is quite a contrast to what we've seen recently. Now the early hints towards the very end of the month, treated cautiously, but suggest that high pressure is back on the scene, and it may well be by then that we do go back into a drier spell of weather as we close out June. If it centres itself towards the east, as shown here, it would draw in a very warm air mass from the south, and of course draw in the warmth and the humidity, and we might start to talk about thunderstorms getting into the mix again at that point. One to watch further ahead, but it looks as though some higher temperatures will return. We'll keep an eye on that one and update you in the next planning video on Friday of this week. For today, thanks for watching. Bye for now.